Welcome to our Israel Innovation Series. Recently, Israeli scientists and engineers literally shot for the moon. Their first lunar craft crashed just miles away from its goal of putting down on the moon's surface. But they learned a lot in the process. Take a look. Before the final descent of the spacecraft, these Israeli pioneers hoped for success.
8.5 years in the making, so many engineers, both in Space IL, Israel Aerospace Industries, donors, supporters, volunteers, and it's all coming down to this. This baby here is going to get to the surface of the moon. The only question is, in how many pieces?
Space IL's major donor, Morris Kahn, explained the name of the spacecraft.
Bereshit is the first word in our Bible. It is in the beginning. And I think that for us, this is the beginning. And for Space IL and for the Israel aircraft industry, this is the beginning.
We have lost communication with the spacecraft.
But on the verge of history, Israel's spacecraft, Bereshit, fell just short.
It seems that a failure in our inertial measurement unit caused a chain of events in the spacecraft avionics, which cut off the engines and caused us to lose the mission.
The attempted moon landing began as a dream by 3 Israeli engineers 8.5 years ago. Despite the failure, it still represents the epitome of Israel as the startup nation.
It's a story that shows a lot about Israel, how 3 young engineers sitting in a bar can, just pull an entire country after them and make this a reality.
They want to inspire the next generation.
We've met more than 1 million kids in Israel and around the world and gave them the message that, science and technology can be fun, can be cool.
Israel became only the 7th nation to put a spacecraft in lunar orbit and the first privately funded mission to the moon.
For a small country like Israel, for a small, even smaller company or association like Space IL, it's a huge achievement.
But my message is for the kids. This is hard. It is rocket science. Science and engineering is difficult. It doesn't always work the first time. But you have to pick yourself up and try again.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu encouraged the space team to go on.
If at first you don't succeed, you try again.
The spacecraft carried a nano copy of the Bible on board, and before its final descent, the spacecraft took a selfie with a banner that read, "Small country, big dreams." Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Israel Space Center. In our next installment, we'll see how one Israeli organization is determined to provide real-life solutions for the disabled around the world. We'll see you then.